Anime cyberpunk style meets skirmish combat in Infinity. Experience 8 high-tech factions and fight to control the human sphere at the Infinity Hub on beastsofwar.com. Flames of War brings you the battles of World War II in epic 15mm scale. Go to the hub on beastsofwar.com to find news, tactics, and tutorials about the game.
Good morning and welcome to the Weekender.
Hey guys.
Hello.
So you've been assaulted by the new Beasts of War promos for the hubs with the new voice of Beasts of War. She is the Holly to our Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Yes, we wanted to draw more attention to the fabulous hubs and stuff like that we have going on in Beasts of War. So Lloyd and myself have been working on them for a little while, and we wanted to try and inject some energy and passion into them. We're very proud of what we get up to over at Beasts of War.
Definitely.
And we wanted to demonstrate it more to you guys. A big thanks to our new Holly.
Does that make Lloyd Crichton?
No, Lloyd's cat. Lloyd is
we
the
have
cat.
to film him dancing into the studio.
He is
now.
absolutely the cat. Anyway, we're going to have a few more of those, and it's something we're going to be working more and more on. You know, we want to start pulling more interesting aspects of the site, and maybe some interesting aspects of, for example, Backstage, and try and distill Backstage into 16 seconds. You know, what makes Backstage so awesome. Other than the fact that Beasts of War couldn't survive without the memberships of Backstage. But there's a ton of additional content in there. Whenever you're a Backstager and you browse Beasts of War, you get a very different experience on Beasts of War, because all of the article pages, well, I say all of them, a good 90% to 99% of them are all upgraded to a magazine layout. So they all have additional graphics and imagery and stuff, and they look absolutely beautiful. It's a very different browsing experience for Backstagers.
They also have a greater chance to interact with the site itself. I mean, we have a lot of Backstage supplied articles happening at the moment. Where they write in like a Gurn of the Every Other Week, Gaming City Guide, all of that.
Yeah, Gurn of the Every Other Week. I really do look forward to it. You know, we're gamers. We love to have a good old Gurn, and it's always relatively good humored. You know, it's it's fun to have a good old Gurn. So there's a ton of additional content.
You just know that image right there is the one Justin's going to use for the front page.
Absolutely. If the way we see Backstage is whenever you join Backstage on Beasts of War, it completes your hobby. And it keeps this whole thing alive and keeps the rent and stuff being paid. Right. I want to get stuck into the show. Okay. I've got a few bits and pieces I want to talk about. First off, I've got a couple of great things through the post and through email. I've got some stuff I want to show off over the next couple of weeks. Some really cool stuff that's been sent through the post. But I want to start with this. What about that?
Is this a new board game?
Well, what it is we had an article series running on Beasts of War called World War 2.5, done by the magnificent Oriskany, James. Oriskany's a long-time community member. He is the maestro of gaming at different strategic levels, from the tactical right up to the command level strategic, or he probably has a much better name for it, but that's what I can think of. But if you remember back a few weekenders, I was talking about this series, and it was called World War 2.5. Now, the way I put it at the time was, I had just finished watching Patton, which I thought was fabulous.
I still need to watch that movie.
If I could rename this game, it would have been what Patton would have done next.
Yeah.
Okay? Basically, what has happened is the Americans and the Soviets have arrived at Berlin, but it didn't stop. The fight continued. The Germans then joined the Allies, and then the battle continued. between the Allies, with Germany in it now, and the Soviets.
So it's alternate World War II without going into the sci-fi stuff that usually accompanies it.
Absolutely. It was. You say alternate World War II, I say ultimate World War II. This is basically the ultimate what-if scenario, which is something I really am interested. I'm getting used to the whole World War II thing. And as I've started to understand some of the geopolitics behind it all, I've got to say, I'm becoming more and more interested in those what-if scenarios.
Yeah. There's a TV show, I think, on Amazon at the moment, based on a book called The Man in the High Castle. It's all about what would have happened if the Axis won. I haven't watched it yet to see if it's any good, but I do like the book, so it might be interesting to check out that.
Well, I think it's very interesting that I think at the end of World War II, everybody had absolutely enough of war.
Yeah.
Regardless of militarily, where each of because there were only two sides at the end of World War II. There were the Allies and there were the Soviets. Regardless of where they were militarily, I think I know that everybody, any reasonable human being, had enough of war by that stage, and I don't think politicians could have taken it any further. I think, they had to establish some kind of uneasy peace, okay? However, this imagines that wasn't possible, and that heads like Patton started to prevail. Because Patton wanted to continue the fight.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Well, according to the movie, now, Oriskany very kindly informed me behind the scenes that, that movie, it's not quite historically accurate, and he's portrayed, how do you say, very kindly in that movie, and he's right, it's but I think the general vibe of it was, the quote from the movie is, Patton says, let me fight them now when I at least have an army here to do it with. Yeah. Because we're going to end up fighting them at some point. And you need only look at what's happening around us at the moment. It's the fact is you had two very, very different ideologies there. Much more different back then than the ideologies are today. Which is a very good thing. The ideological differences between nations these days, well, most nations these days, is a lot less than what it was back in the 1940s.
Yeah, the political landscape is a bit more homogenized. Is that the right word?
Yes. So this game here was Oriskany's vision for how World War 2.5 would play out.
Wonderful.
It was made available free to backstagers. So if you're a backstager, you can come along and download this as part of your backstage account. But James put it together into a box set and sent it to me. How cool is that? So he actually sat and he's cut it all out and he's put it all together, and there it is. It is a proper, full-on game as developed by one of our community members.
It looks very professional.
It is brilliant. Can we do a quick unboxing?
Yeah,
Can we see some of the components? Now, it is a strategic level board game, It's so it's all about counters and chits and stuff like that. There, so he's made all the different counters and everything.
He got a very fancy box for it, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Do you smell that?
Yeah.
Was this a laundry? I smell thong.
Must have been a very big thong for that size of box.
Well, maybe that's coming to me in the post next.
So red counters, star counters, Soviet occupied zone. We have army groups, more army groups. I assume they'll be the Allied ones because they're not red. Again. All the counters, so many counters in there.
Yes, lots and lots and lots of counters. But look at this. Let's get past the counters.
Yes, okay.
Look at the book.
Right. I'll move that out of the way for the moment.
So the whole thing is all printed out, components, so how to play. Look at this.
Wow.
How nicely put together.
This went to so much effort.
Isn't that incredible? So the whole game is available to download for Backstagers, but if you're interested in it, why not come across, because he has done, I think it's a 4-part battle report.
Yeah.
A big old battle report of how the whole thing all played out. So it's all there, and from what I can gather, you can use this to base your other games off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
because this takes it from the highest level, as he said before.
So you play on this as almost like a campaign, and then you play the mini battles in bolt action or flames of war or whatever you want to do.
Perfect for bolt action because it opens up the game to historical conflicts that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it gives your games meaning as well.
Yeah. Let me just say, don't be fooled by the fact that this has been given away free to Backstagers. Oriskany is one of the finest game designers that I have seen operating. So don't be fooled by the fact that this has been given away for free and think that this is in some way devalued. You will be astonished by how beautifully put together this system is. And then on top of all of that, look what he made me. I say me because I'm taking absolute ownership of all of this. I even have the campaign map.
That is
superb.
That is really good quality.
Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
Yep. That is absolutely
Yeah, we've got the
amazing.
Rhine here.
Yeah.
Not to be a pain, but can I have one as well?
Look,
Because he's running away with this.
I tell you what.
Are we borrowing it?
We will share it, because
Okay.
otherwise he's going to have to get another thong, and I'll end up with 2 large thongs sent through the post. Okay, so anyway, that's World War 2.5 from Oriskany. I cannot wait. There's a fabulous thread going on over on Beasts of War at the moment, where they're talking about doing a worldwide D-Day campaign.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The moment I saw that Oriskany was involved in that and that he's getting in on that, you have to go and check it out. So come on over to the forums on beastsofwar.com and check out that worldwide D-Day campaign, because I tell you what, I think we're going to get in on that as well. I think we're going to get in on that, and we'll live blog on that particular day. So it might take place over a couple of different days. I'm letting them sort all that out, because they're much wiser heads on this than I am. But we're definitely going to try and get involved in at least part of it. Okay. That was the one I got through the post. Right. I also got an amazing email.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Fabio sent me an email. Now, he sent me an email specifically about Brownwater Navy, but I'm going to come to that. But at the end of the email, he says, I've also got something really cool to show you. Bring it up, Sam. Is that not the baddest ass Autoblinda you have ever seen?
That is a really nice camouflage scheme.
Isn't that just... Right, so for anybody that doesn't know...
Yeah, what is it?
This is the Autoblinda. This is Alessio Cavatori's favorite machine. No, it's not. But in my book, I will continue to the day I die to put it about that this is Alessio's favorite armor. It's an Italian vehicle that can go as fast in reverse as it can in forward drive. It basically can drive both ways. It's got an engine and a gearbox that means that the driver can basically turn around and run away really quick. Okay? I've always had a bit of a chuckle about it, but seeing that is a very, very cool vehicle. Yeah. That is a very cool vehicle. And I love the camo pattern on it, John. How would you replicate that?
With an airbrush in great difficulty.
Yeah, with an airbrush in great difficulty. It's because they've obviously almost airbrushed it in. Yes. They've started with the sand base, and then they've airbrushed in the green and the brown. I don't know how you would replicate that on a model just yet. You probably have to mask it.
Could you have a crack at something like that? If I can get a hold of an Autoblinda, can I set you a challenge on a painting tutorial to replicate that
I can try.
On an Autoblinda for me?
Yes, I will try.
Right, there we have it.
On top of every other painting tutorial I have to do.
Well, once I saw it, I need to get a hold of an Autoblinda first. We may have one. If not, I'm going to try and get one, because when I saw it like that, I thought to myself, that is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yeah. So Fabio, thank you for that, mate. That really did brighten up my day. Now, The purpose of his email, okay, was he sent me a link to a documentary. Now, if you cast your mind back, must be a year and a half ago, back when we did NAMM Week. Okay.
Yes.
Now, this was for it was a themed week all about Flames of War Vietnam, and it was absolutely fabulous. I had a whale of a time. NAMM Week was superb. I have got to say, I am a huge fan of Flames of War Vietnam. I think as a system goes, it really does capture the period very well. But more importantly than that, it's a bloody good game.
Yeah.
It captures the period and it makes a game that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that was a period that could have been done as a game that just wouldn't have been an awful lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because for one player on the US side, you'd have just been spitting blah, 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 artillery the whole time. And then from the other side, you'd have just been getting killed all the time. Who would have had much fun? But they've built dynamics and mechanics into that game that made it really, really cool. So if you fancy that, click this link and we'll take you to the NAMM Week where you see it. And myself and Dave Shoulder had a fantastic time. And remind me to talk about Dave's shoulder. This is running order on the fly. I don't want to miss that because Flames
Screw
of
it,
War...
we're doing it live!
Well, Flames of War for the Win is on its way back. I want to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. Okay.
However, the next expansion for Flames of War Vietnam is coming up.
Can I press the thing yet? Can I press the thing yet?
Go on, press the thing.
I can press the thing.
Brown Water Navy. Now, what this is in... a big part of the Vietnam fighting took place in the waterways and the channels, and it was all brown water, hence why it's called the Brown Water Navy.
All your patrol boats and stuff.
So all these patrol boats and stuff, and then the guys running off, because what they also took was they took do you know the landers from World War II?
Yeah.
I think we've got a picture
a
of
Higgins
one.
boat or something.
Something like that. Anyway.
This.
Yeah, like an old, a different version of a Higgins boat. Yeah.
So what they did was they took those and they actually up-armored or upgraded them and used them as troop carriers. You have some pictures of the models.
Yeah,
John,
I've got some
what do you
great
see?
things here.
Let me pick one here. Firstly, this picture here starts to give you an idea of what the game looks like.
That sums it all up for you.
So
right
you
there.
have all of these different channels and stuff like that, and you can get off and you can basically you have to invade these little tiny islands and stuff like that, and it just looks like a really intricate, interesting game.
Very much so.
Now the other thing about Vietnam is Vietnam wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for the helicopters.
Yep.
And they are in this as well.
Get the Hueys back.
Sweet.
So don't think for a second that the helicopters and stuff aren't in it as well. It's all there. It's all represented.
Yeah. I was reading over this before the show as well. I have to say, this is something that I hadn't considered in terms of the Vietnam War. And it's something I think looks a lot of fun to play and adds a real new element to it. I look at this and I want to play the Viet Cong.
Yes.
I mean, they don't have all this fancy equipment and everything.
They have amazing rules, though.
Yeah, they ambushes is their main thing. And they also have these, I think this is the right... Yeah, those little boats that you see there. Because the idea there is they're resistance fighters. So you don't know they're going to get you until they're shooting at you. But they use this very strategically to interrupt your movements and make it difficult for you to get your ships where you want them to go because these are in the way.
Well, the interesting thing about it for me was Fabio sent me a link to a documentary. It's a documentary called Brothers in War. We'll bring up a link here, so it's well worth watching. And it was very good because it concentrated on Charlie Company that very much were in the Brown Water Navy. You know, they were moving around on these boats and having to, secure territories and stuff like that. I don't know if you've ever watched Brothers in War. It's narrated by Charlie Sheen.
Oh no!
So it as documentaries go, it is full of tiger blood. It has all the tiger blood and wind that you ever wanted. Charlie Sheen from Platoon.
I have not seen Platoon.
What? Why do we always end up in this situation? Right. Stop the show. We're going to take him. We're going to get him interested in Platoon here.
We're now going to have 2.5 hours
of intermission.
I have now seen Platoon.
It is an interesting documentary, okay? And it does give you a feel for what this game is all about. And it didn't dampen my enthusiasm for the game at all. If anything, I was even more interested in it. But as documentaries go, I half of me really found it interesting, and half of me just hated it at the same time, because it was, as a documentary goes, it was so one-sided.
Very jingoistic.
It was so... It was almost as if the Vietnamese weren't real, and were like this cardboard enemy, and it just felt very, very one-sided. I don't really know what I expected, so maybe that says as much about me. Probably does say more about me than it does about the documentary. But as documentaries go, I suppose I would have liked to have seen a bit more humanity in the documentary, because there were a lot of touching moments in it, where members of Charlie Company ended up losing their lives and stuff, and it's awful. It's awful and it's touching, but at the same time they would say that, and then they go, yeah, but they managed to kill 250 Vietnamese. Yeah.
Oh.
So, that's okay. There's two sides to that. And it's as documentaries go, it's interesting from the point of view of the mechanics of war. You do get a feel for that, but from the point of view of actually understanding and getting a truer feel of the conflict, I didn't really get an awful lot from it from that perspective. So it's one of those ones. Go and have a watch of it and see what you think. But from my perspective, my ambivalence was boiling during it. So
now you know how I feel half the time.
This is it, right? In other big news, Flames of War for the Win is on its way back. I've had a filming session with Dave Shoulder. It's the best we have ever done. Okay,
that's a big claim.
Oh, if you've enjoyed Flames of War for the Win in the past, wait till you get a load of this season. Okay, so we've recorded the first half of this season. We're going to let it run out. We're going to interact with you guys while it runs out, and then myself and Dave are going to get back together and record the second half of the season, based a lot on what you guys you guys say to us. But I can sit here and say it's the best, it's the most interesting Flames of War for the Win that we have ever done. And in big part, we've got to put a big thank you out to Bothie. You're going to find out more about producer Bothie during the whole Flames of War for the Win. But we had a producer on board, and it was just brilliant. Myself and Dave learned a ton. We laughed a ton. We went, a ton. It was great.
Then Dave left and forgot his tanks.
Yeah, Dave.
Which are still up there.
Yeah, all your tanks with their lady names are all sitting here. I can see Natalie from here, actually. It's all going to kick off, actually, first on, we have a backstage video, which will be going out in the next week or two, where myself and Dave are just talking. We're going to have a chat about our expectations, what we'd like to see from the series and stuff like that. So if you want to support the series of Flames of War for the Win, do consider coming over and joining backstage. For every episode that we've done of Flames of War for the Win, we also have another accompanying episode in backstage. Yep. So we have this backstage chat where we're just chewing the fat about Flames of War for the Win, having a chuckle over where the last 2 years have brought us to, what our expectations are. Then we get into the series proper. One episode will go out front stage. its sister episode will be in Backstage, and it's a great way for people to support the show and to help us continue filming Flames of War for the Win. All of these shows cost, everything that we put out for free. Remember, it costs as well to be able to do it.
Yep.
Same way as this show has an accompanying sister episode in Backstage that goes out on a Sunday. At the end of it, I think myself and David will probably sit down. We'll sit down for another chat just to mark the halfway point of the season.
Yep.
Talk about where we're at with it and what our favorite moments and stuff are as well. And that again will be Backstage. So I can't wait. I think it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous series. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, Dave's a great bloke, and he's really enthusiastic for the game as well. You can see that in the presentation.
He is brilliant. Okay, I'm going to take a very quick break. It's time to get Holly to give you a couple more promos. After the break, I think John, you're thinking of taking War and bringing it more bang up to date?
There's something coming, yeah. We're going to cover something that I've not looked at a lot before. So.
Okay, Holly, tell them about the hubs.
Fight for the Iron Kingdoms as a warcaster. Take control of the mighty jacks, arcane devices, and dark sorceries to bring the fight to the War Machine Hub on beastsofwar.com. Flames of War brings you the battles of World War II in epic 15mm scale. Go to the hub on beastsofwar.com to find news, tactics, and tutorials about the game.
Thanks for that, Holly. And now it's time to go to yet another promo break. I can sit and listen to them all day. I'm just going to keep bombarding you with them. No, I'm not. We've got some stuff to talk about.
We do.
We had a visitor this week.
We did.
We did indeed.
Very unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Very unexpected. Are you wanting me to explain?
Yes, I want you to explain.
Because you're looking at me.
Yeah, the reason being because if I explain, I get accused of talking too much. I'm the host of the show. I know that in professional circles that means that I shut up and let other people talk, but this is Beasts of War. This is not professional. Yeah, tell us about it.
So earlier in the week, you came in and said, "Oh, by the way, we have someone from this model company coming," and I went, "What?" And you just sort of went, "Hey, he'll be here shortly." I was like, "Okay." I went into Justin and was like, "Can you bring up the website? Let me see."
Let me clarify because he's trying to hide one aspect of that conversation. John, yes, we have somebody coming in from Empress Miniatures. Okay. They do tanks. What?
Okay.
Running straight into Justin going, bring it up. And then I said, you're going to love these because it's, what I know Empress for. They do a big range of beautiful miniatures.
Stuff.
However, the thing that I'm most excited about whenever I look at the Empress Miniatures range is their moderns and the whole moderns and near future range they do. But John, I'll pass it back over to you.
So Keith turns up.
Yes.
And brings his son, and his son...
He came here all the way from Malta.
From Malta, yeah. Heck of a journey.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, along with his son Samuel, or as we were calling him there to differentiate the pair of us, our Lord and Master, Chief Commander.
Yes. Who promptly got entertained by you by entertaining you instead of
Yes.
As Warren put it, we're going to leave your Sam to babysit our Sam.
Yeah. So Keith sat down with Warren and myself and brought out the big box of toys that he brought with him.
Yes.
And he's showed us off the 1/50th scale vehicles.
Yes.
And infantry.
This is 28mm moderns, guys. You put us out of our misery, John.
All right. So we have 3 of them here, which have all went through an unboxing with Keith.
Yes, so
they will be coming.
So keep an eye out for the unboxings. I'll be going through these in detail, but
we'll
have to show them all.
We'll start small. So
okay.
We first up have a Humvee.
Yes.
I don't think anyone has ever looked at the Humvee and said, we'll start small.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Humvee's a big vehicle.
Now, this is an early pattern Humvees.
Yes.
They do Humvees now that they do a number of variants of the Humvee. And they even have, I don't know the name of it, I'm swatting up on this still, but they have what is basically like the replacement of the Humvee.
Yeah.
But most men are not even the height of the wheels because the replacement of the Humvee is actually based on a lorry chassis, not that.
Yeah.
So it's like this size, it's really big.
Rani will be getting one next week.
Yes.
Yeah. So this version of the Humvee is, as Keith was saying, and again I'll say he said it in the unboxing, but this is the version of the Humvee where they started to up armor them when they were in Iraq in 03, 04, and they realized we need a bit more armor on these things.
Yeah.
So they started to up armor them and add this little bird's nest, as we sort of like to call it, because of the little armored cockpit for the gunner up there. Do you know what? There are very few pieces in this kit.
Right.
The wheels are separate. There's 2 axles. There's the turret, gun shield, and the rest of the model is one piece.
Can you turn it upside down to get a look at it?
I can try.
I remember you showing this off. It was a very, very clean piece of resin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't clean a single piece on this model. The others a little bit here and there, but that just got built straight out of the box without any problems. So we have the Humvees.
Wait.
Move that.
Can I just say, I love Humvees.
Why?
I just think they're so cool, John. You know, what I want is, I want a game, right?
Where you can have Stug Humvees.
I basically want a convoy of Humvees. Okay? And I want them driving, I want Black Hawk Down. Okay.
Black Hawk Down or Generation Kill, which was another good one.
I haven't seen that.
You need to see it.
I will need to watch that.
Would it surprise you that I haven't seen it either?
No, it wouldn't. We have the next thing, which is bigger. Look at that. That is the British Army Warrior APC. That is the most modern version of the APC that the British Army use and are still using.
That's an APC?
Yes.
That means Armoured Personnel Carrier.
Even I knew that one.
Okay, so that's a Rhino.
Only cooler.
Only cooler?
It's like a Rhino Razorback, because it has the gun as well.
Okay, now you're talking in my language.
Yeah, so
now
that's
you're talking
a
in my
Razorback.
language.
John, that is beautiful.
Isn't it? And again, there's not a lot of parts in the kit. I mean, the turret is pretty much one piece, bar the hatches. The gun barrel is one piece. Take the turret off. The upper hull is all one piece. And the tracks are the only other bits.
Does it feel solid?
Yeah.
It is a gaming piece.
Yeah,
you know,
that is a pretty solid piece of resin and gorgeous. The detail is brilliant.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, one of the things is, you know, for that amount of detail, that's, you know...
Yeah, that is a beautiful
That is a really, really nice amount of detail on that, John. You know, we must be getting near 1/35th. Well, maybe not. I suppose there's only so much detail you can do, but I can't see what's missing, if you know what I mean.
It looks like a complete vehicle. You can't look at it and go,
and did the hull all come in one piece, or did you have to stick any of these bits on?
Just a hatch.
So just the hatch?
Just a hatch and the camo netting on the side.
Yeah, I remember you panicking and being in two minds because you couldn't decide which version to build.
Yeah, because the kit came with an upgrade set. So this is Warrior as it is used in Europe and in the UK.
Yeah.
He also had for it that comes in the same kit the upgrade parts to make it the 2003 Iraq War version, which has all this extra added armor on the front and sides and really beefs the thing up.
Oh, so it's up armored again.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Shirtson or something on it? Or
it's like big, thick slabs of metal and composite armor, so it is a bit like Shirtson, only it's meant to actually take a big hit off something.
Are you telling me it makes it look a bit like a Stug?
A little bit like a Stug.
Oh, okay. Right.
So that's Warrior. That's very nice.
I love that. So that's British then,
Yep,
yeah?
so that's British. We'll then move on to what I would consider the technical crown of the three vehicles we got.
Yes.
Because this is an ingenious bit of model design and an ingeniously awful vehicle.
Right.
So here we have the Striker. This is the Striker.
No, wait. Before we get into it, is this thing real?
This is real.
This thing exists?
This exists in the American Army.
They use this?
Yes.
This is not some kind of Infinity concept piece?
This is a real vehicle used in real life.
It would fit in Infinity though,
wouldn't it? No, I'm looking at it and going, that's an Infinity vehicle there. So
this is the Striker MGS.
The Striker MGS.
This is
that's a hell of a gun.
The mobile gun system. The Striker was an APC to start with. It was an eight-wheeled APC. And they decided they needed a vehicle to go with the APC version to clear houses.
I think I've actually got a picture of the APC version here.
Yes, you do. So that is the APC. It's a bit of a small image.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's our APC. They then thought, well, we need house clearing capability.
So they did.
When
you say house clearing, you mean house demolishing?
As I say in the unboxing, house deleting.
Yeah, deleting. Okay, yeah.
So what they did was they made an auto-loading version of the M1 Abrams main gun and put it on a turret.
Auto-loading?
Auto-loading. So it has an automatic loading system. There's no manual load in this. So it has a carousel, like a big revolving pistol, and it loads the 120 rounds in by itself.
So the gunner just goes boom, 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 boom.
As fast as the system can reload the gun, he can fire it.
That is, I want to see the inside of that. That sounds fascinating.
Can I just say, though, right? Shooting forwards,
yes,
I can see that working.
Yep.
But this thing's on a turret.
Yep.
That's going to have recoil.
Yes.
So when that goes like that...
Yes, it runs...
Surely that goes like that.
It runs into problems. And I think Keith and I were talking about it, and he said there is footage of them firing this thing off the side going, look, it can fire at this. Having tactfully photoshopped out the retaining bar of metal they'd stuck into the ground on the other side of it.
So the welded supports in
to stop the thing flipping over.
That is crazy. So that is absolutely crazy.
It's a full-bore tank gun on a light chassis. This thing has only got like aluminium armor. There's not much to it as far as weight goes. It's only about 22 tons. It's quite
The problem with this thing is if you rattle up and fire it, you're suddenly retreating.
Yeah. If you don't put your parking brake.
Yeah. Can you turn it over again so as I can see the underneath of this one? How many? This has a lot of parts.
This has a few more parts. Because you compose the gun can elevate and depress and all that as well.
Yeah.
Why I think this is an ingenious model kit is that underneath, you're able to pose the wheels. The front four wheels are the steering wheels on the vehicle, and you're able to pose those.
So you have it kind of posing. Oh, so the front four-wheel steer.
Yeah. Sorry,
my hands are dirty, by the way, because of all the terrain work.
Yeah.
And I can't get a lot of the residue washed off, by the way. So if you think he's a dirty Brit on that show, so the rear wheels are fixed.
Mm-hmm. And it steers on the front four.
It steers on the front four.
And I believe it drives on all 8.
Wow.
So it's an 8-wheel drive, 4-wheel steer.
8-wheel drive, so 8 independent drives.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But the way he's done this for the kit is that the wheel goes on to one of the shock absorbers.
Yes.
Which is then drilled into the underside of the hull. And then these crossbars place them down, clamp them in place. So they will actually rotate so you can pose the vehicle doing a turn like I've done. And it's a beautifully simple little piece of model design that I absolutely adored because I looked at it and went, oh my God, I can do this. You can stop them looking like they're going in a straight line all the time. Yes, not a lot of parts to this one either. More than the other two.
Yes.
But again, just very simple and very nice.
And then at the back we have the rear hatch.
Yep.
So
the rear doors.
And did you have to stick any of this stuff on, or?
I had to put on these two sort of pieces here, which are for stowage and the like.
But not the jerry cans.
But not the jerry cans. They were molded on it. Yeah. The hatches were molded on it. There's this little tow bar on the front which had to be glued on.
Yeah.
Apart from that, the 4 wheels at the back are the only bits, and then the suspension assembly. So I mean, the hull is pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Another bit actually on the model design on the back. This back plate isn't molded, so that is a separate piece.
Yes.
But that is covering where the gates for the resin injection is put in. So all you need to do is cut the resin gates off, roughly sand them down, and you're covering that whole area with another piece.
Oh, very nice.
So
very nice.
Very clever, and I really like it. And I will be looking at a lot more.
Absolutely. Guys, stay tuned because What's in the Box is going to be bringing these vehicles where we'll talk about them in more detail. We also have some infantry you're going to be talking about as well. So
we've got some pictures of those guys as well up here.
Yes.
Yep.
I am super excited. I can't believe I'm using the word super excited.
You're using super a lot.
But I am super excited about this because near future gaming is something that I really, really, really love. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that whole kind of Tom Clancy type.
You know what you would like then? Osprey Games later this year are coming out with Black Ops, but for Black Ops skirmish gaming.
Yeah.
So that'll be all that very near future warfare.
Yeah. Well, if you like what you see from the guys at Empress Miniatures, head on over to their website and be sure to drop them an email and say Beast of War sent you. That way, we can kind of twist their arms and say, come back! Come back, we want to see more. But definitely, John, I think as those vehicles go there, just awesome.
Yeah.
And I absolutely want to see it. And we're going to have to check out Black Ops from Osprey. Okay. Right. We have some more models that I want to have a look at.
We do indeed.
Raging Heroes have brought Toughest Gals in the Galaxy to Kickstarter. They are busting stretch goals left, right, and center, raising another ton of money to create an absolute ton of new miniatures. Sam, what can you tell us about the Kickstarter?
Well, first let me bring up their banner for this.
Yep.
If you see here, there's 3 of the concept sketches. The idea behind this Kickstarter is it's bringing us 6 new armies. But it's
6?
Yeah. Well, it's 3 basic forces, and it's sci-fi and fantasy variants of each of them. But it isn't just a reskin of every unit. They also have specific fantasy and sci-fi units that you wouldn't find.
Yes.
For instance, the whole thing is you have Dark Elves, or Void Elves, as they are in the sci-fi. You have the Sisters of Eternal Mercy, or...
No, they look awesome. They look absolutely awesome. Yep.
They're also the Sisters of the Orphanage in fantasy.
Yeah.
And then you have the Lust Elves, who need no introduction.
Yes.
But the great thing is, they are making individual models for both fantasy and sci-fi. If I bring up, let's see... Yeah, these for the Sisters of Eternal Mercy. See, look at them.
Yes.
Very cool.
They are so beautiful. And I love how the wings here, look at them. They're based on like stained glass window arches.
Yes, it has a very gothic feel to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's look, let's be honest here, right? If you're a Sisters of Battle player, you're looking at this going, "What?" It's one of the things that I've found about Raging Heroes. Oh, come on. This is the Priestess of the Son of Thorns. One of the great things about it is, and what's making me so excited about this particular Kickstarter is, when they did the last Kickstarter, it took us all by surprise.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? I wasn't expecting it to fund anywhere near where it funded.
Yep.
But then I wasn't expecting the concept art to be as cool as what it actually ended up.
Their concepts are incredible. Some of the best sketches out there.
But even better than that is their models are really nailing the concept art.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Really
In many respects, their models at least match the concept art, or in many cases, is actually better than the concept art.
I would definitely say that. I mean, the last Kickstarter all started because of these 3, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. And just look at, those are the models. Those are superb.
And the concept art was nearly the same, wasn't it? When you looked at the concepts.
Here we've got another bit of concept for the Sisters of... This is the Sisters of the Orphanage, so they're fantasy.
So this is the fantasy combat nuns.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting army idea, because I don't think I've seen a kind of combat nuns army in the fantasy realm.
Warhammer Fantasy kind of did it with Mordheim, where you had the Sisters of Sigmar faction, and I've seen people use them in Empire armies, but apart from that, you've never seen anything this large. It's not a full army.
Well, with the new fantasy rules on the way, how cool would it be to have something like this that you can field them up, especially if it is going skirmish and it's going round bases as well. You know, now's your chance. Get in on the likes of this. Grab yourself, because these armies are going to complete.
Oh yeah,
you know, they're going to complete. So grab yourself something like this, and you'll have one of the most unique fantasy skirmish armies that you're likely to see in any of your kind of gamer groups and stuff. No, John, we got a package of some samples of some of this stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff from their first Kickstarter.
Yes.
So those have also been through What's in the Box.
Yes.
Which are sitting in the can and ready to go. We got a lot more stuff than we could unbox.
Yeah.
We have a ton of stuff we still need to go through.
Well, can we see some examples? Because I want to show the folks at home just what this stuff looks like whenever it actually arrives from the Kickstarter.
We got the Jailbird set, which is 4 models. So hang on. So this has been through an unboxing already.
Right. So that's
the art. Or that's the painted miniatures, And we will show the models actually done up here.
So oh, wow.
I'll center them, set them all out for you. Make sure she's the right way around. And then Harry.
The hippo.
Harry the baby hippo.
Harry the baby hippo. So these are the jailbirds. These are the sort of renegade faction that the guys at Raging Heroes have come up with. And I remember doing the unboxing and saying, this girl in the middle, Blondie, I believe she's called.
Yes, you've got Bernadette.
Yeah, Bernadette, Blondie, and
Yoko,
and Harry. Mm-hmm. Blondie strikes me so much of that tank girl.
Yes.
That punk-esque sort of style to it, and the whole Jailbirds range, having had a peek at some of it.
You can tell they read their tank girl.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
I'll tell you what, they as models go, they have a beautiful femininity about them.
Yep.
But they are badass.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's there's serious attitude in those models. It's it's nice to be able to see that, because sometimes we don't see that. Sometimes we just see femininity that it just is almost out of place, because it's they're supposed to be warriors, in these war games, and they look more like your kind of helpless rescue bait.
Yeah, the characters you'd see in B movies, the screaming blondes.
But in this one, in these particular designs, I'm a particular fan of Bernadette. Mm-hmm. I think Bernadette has a real attitude. This one's Bernadette here,
pulling the glove on.
There's some real attitude there. Blondie is very, very cool, but I've got to say my favorite is Bernadette. Yeah. I think that attitude.
I wish I grabbed the image for this one, but there's one model that came out of the first Kickstarter, and it's the sort of nurse with a mech harness and everything. And it's very genteel, and she's even making herself a cup of tea with the mech harness. I love that model.
Yeah.
The thing is, because we didn't manage to unbox everything, because everything isn't quite on the product range on their website yet, I did get a look through the other factions that they've done. And you go from this, which is incredible, punky, sort of badass attitude, and you get the girls in full tactical armor, which isn't completely form-fitting. They look like soldiers, but they still, in the faces and in their poses and all that, still have that attitude to them. And that's what's really excited me about them, because you look at them and go, that is badass. Doesn't matter what they're wearing. That is badass.
Well, it does live up to the name, the toughest girls of the galaxy.
Absolutely.
There is one more that I want to talk about. Obviously, we've had the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Yep.
Everybody wants to start an Adeptus Mechanicus army. If you're interested in it, we talked about it in the XLBS. That's the extra long backstage version of this show. Goes out on a Sunday. So head on over to Beasts of War and check out last Sunday's show. Myself and Kristen and Justin were talking about them, and Justin, A, kept calling them Mechanicus, and B, actually required convincing of how cool they were.
Yeah. What?
He was utterly convinced by the time me and Kristen were finished with him.
Heresy, sir.
However, if you're doing that army, there is a spectacular model
we have a model
that you have to have a look at. This is Nefaria, the Necro Priestess. Okay?
Yes.
And if you're doing a Mechanicus army, have a look at this.
The one you want.
Ah!
I want
it. How cool is that?
It's like Doc Ock's evil twin sister.
It really is. But she's so much more than that.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of your high-ranking tech priestesses.
Yes. I'm doing a bit of reading at the moment. I'm working up. It just happened to be a coincidence, but a happy coincidence. I'm working up our Warlord Titan at the moment, repairing it and getting it all ready, because we're doing a lot of 40k stuff behind the scenes at the moment.
Yep.
Last week you will have seen me jumping up and down for joy looking at my red Orktober, my Orc submarine. And to get me into the vibe of working on the Warlord Titan, I started to read Titanicus.
Excellent book.
Dan Abnett book. I am enjoying it so much. But what I'm really enjoying about it, I'm still in the early stages of it, is I'm really enjoying the insight into the Mechanicus that I'm getting from it. Even down to the Binaric Cant, which is the language, that they all that they talk to each other. I was having a chuckle at Justin. Justin was trying to say something to me the other day, and I was saying, I would swear you're talking to me in Binaric Cant. And he looked at me and I said, no, let me take that back. Justin, for you, it would be just can't. But it's been really, really interesting getting the whole vibe of the Mechanicus.
Do you know what you should read then? If you go back to the Horus Heresy books, there's one that's just called Mechanicus, and I reviewed it a few years back now. Yeah. And it's all about how the heresy affected the Mechanicus. And you get a great insight into that, including the Titan legions and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if you read that, then you have to move on to Priests of Mars.
Oh, I haven't read that.
Which is the up-to-date 40k, what's happening now in the Mechanicus. And then you have likes of Titanicus and all that sort of stuff.
Right, well, there you go. There's your reading list. For any of you guys that are trying to get into the Adeptus Mechanicus as a new army, I'm sure the Codex is okay. Mm-hmm. I've never been much of a fan of the background material inside the codices.
I tend to enjoy them a lot, but
it's horses for courses. Mm-hmm. I think I prefer the novels myself. I like especially what Dan Abnett writes. So for me, I'm not placing too much of an expectation on what's in the codices. I'm really going to enjoy the rest of Titanicus.
Yep.
I'm then going to have a read of Mechanicus, and then Priests of Mars.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. That's my three reading list.
Nice.
But for me, one of the interesting aspects is how dehumanized the Mechanicus actually is.
Oh, yeah.
To the point that they do exist as a separate race to humanity. They are... They were at some point humanity's constructs, but now there's so little humanity left in them as individuals that they become so replaced. The fact that is interesting. That they actually struggle to speak, human, to speak English,
but they look down on humans. It's always like, it's a meat bag, or it's,
Well, they either look down on them with pity or down on them with disdain, or somewhere in between. And it's just that fact that there's only the tiniest bit of flesh that still exists within them, and you get that impression that if it didn't need to be there,
it wouldn't.
It wouldn't be there. But it's that the whole, as an army goes. I am so pleased that Games Workshop have introduced them. I never realized, because we all know about the Mechanicus. We all talk about the Mechanicus. Oh, all our equipment and our machines are coming from the Mechanicus. We have the tech priests. They're part of the Mechanicus, so they're that little bit separate. But it was only when I started to read up on it that I realized just how separate, how unique as a faction they actually are, and when they deserve their place.
Yeah,
and when
40K.
you see like tech priests being attached to Imperial Guard units, and you read Titanicus and all that other stuff, and you think he's actually, as much as they need him there, he's actually on one of the bottom rungs of the ladder in the hierarchy.
Yes,
he's one of the lesser people.
I think one of the best moments for tech priests for me was the Cathias Cain novels.
I was going to bring that up.
When they're described as like, they said the holy activation codes and then ceremoniously banged the console. Stuff like that.
The best one is the character in the Cathias Cain's Amberley Vale. She's an inquisitor who has a phobia of tech priests.
Yeah.
And she's referring to one that was trying to awkwardly engage in a conversation at a dinner. And she goes, well, it's hardly surprising that he can't converse with regular humans when he feels he's got more in common with a drinks machine.
One of the interesting parts of Titanicus for me was the whole concept that even like the governorship within the planet that's currently being invaded and stuff like that knows that the Mechanicus are only there with the Imperium when it kind of suits them.
Yeah,
they're there as a reluctantly almost.
We want.
It's almost like the Mechanicus are so focused on their own agenda, that they just want to do that agenda. Everything else that they're doing is kind of this reluctant, yeah, okay, we'll do it. But their eye is on something else. There's a lot of mystery about Mars, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this. So.
And the best thing is you can blame, in 40k, you can blame a lot of the Necron incursions because of the Mechanicus going and poking around tombs and activating it all and killing everyone.
Before we move on from the Raging Hero stuff and everything, though, there is one concept sketch I do want to show you, because I was flicking through the Kickstarter, and this one made me do a double take. Okay. It's one of the Lust Elves. It's not a great image,
but...
that is freaky!
Yeah, that is very freaky, isn't it?
Yeah, the Centaur Heroine. And you can get a unit of these.
Are these like... They have a very Slanesh kind of a feel about it, don't they?
Yeah. I think the background of the sci-fi ones, at least, for the elves in general, is that they've kind of transcended mortality. They're pretty much omnipotent beings that project their consciousness into hard light hologram style things. Yeah. They're an army of Rimmer, but the but the Lust Elves have a fascination with. Yeah, okay. I was waiting for that. Have a fascination with flesh and twisting it and making things out of it, and this is just so creepy.
Do you know what? It's time these guys made a game as well. We'll reach out to Raging Heroes. Okay, the Kickstarter, if you want to get on it, and if you love the models, why not? It's only a 15-day Kickstarter. It ends on April 8th, so you only have 4 days left. Definitely go in and get it. If you get in on the Lieutenant pledge, you immediately get $250 worth of freebies. Regardless of what happened in the Kickstarter, the moment you went in on that Lieutenant pledge, $250 worth of freebies was going to be bumped in there for you, and you get a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if you get the Necro Priestess, but
no, I'm afraid I don't think so.
I think she was on the first Kickstarter.
Yeah, she was.
Anyway, we're going to take a very, very quick break. I'm going to have Holly tell you about a couple of more hubs. After the break, I'm going to be bringing Kristen on the show. Kristen has been working with us. He's been on Backstage a couple of times. This is his first outing on the front stage, so I believe.
Better not mess up.
Yeah, the pressure's on this boy. Holly, tell him about some hubs.
Humanity has been driven from Earth, but now it's time to take it back. Join the Reconquest and fight the Scourge on the Drop Zone Commander Hub at beastsofwar.com. Criminal gangs control the streets and lunatics make twisted schemes as night falls on Gotham. Join the Batman at the Batman Miniatures Hub on beastsofwar.com.
Okay, right, we're come to the end of the show. Time to announce some winners. For those guys that got involved in the Battle Zones Summer Come Winter Challenge, we are going to be picking that up now in either just before Salute or just after Salute. So we have the entries. We're sifting through them.
Yep.
And in a upcoming Weekender, it may not be before Salute. It might be just after Salute. We're going to do a bit of a showcase, and we're going to be announcing the winner. And you're going to get that big Battle Zones prize. We have 4 winners of Adepticon. Dawn and Gianna did a live blog from Adepticon 2015, and we had a prize. So if you commented on the live blog, you're in with a chance of winning one of 4 Relic Knight prizes. And congratulations go to Agilolius, Jack the Mayor, Multifish, and Editor 227. Well done, guys. You guys are winners. Fill in the prize claim form over on beastsofwar.com.
Got some awesome minis there.
Yeah. Now, last week, the prize was that if you commented, you could be in with a chance of winning one of 2 Batman, the miniature game rulebooks. Everybody is waiting for these. Oh, okay. We have 2 winners. Congratulations to Volgo and Ugleb. Well done, guys. These are going to be winging their way to you. fill in the prize claim form over on beastofwar.com.
Winging the way. He made a bad pun.
I see what you mean.
That's, I need to get myself some of the bat shark repellent.
Yeah, he hadn't heard about this. I showed him this clip the other day.
This week, you learn something new every week, and this week I learned about bat shark repellent.
If it's not in the game, I don't know. That was the one thing that I'm like, oh, it's not in the game. I'm not sure about it.
We have a prize this week as well, okay? By commenting on this video, either here at beastofwar.com or on YouTube underneath this video, or on the corresponding kind of post that we put up on Facebook, you're in with a chance of winning the fabulous Jailbirds division. This is the toughest girls in the galaxy. We unboxed these and showed them off a little bit earlier in the show. If you would like to win this little box set that contains Bernadette, Blondie, Yoko, and cute little Harry the Hippo.
I mean, it's worth it just for the hippo.
I don't want to give this away.
No.
Can we at least keep Harry?
Yeah, you might get it without Harry, but no, you'll get it. If you want to be in with a chance of winning this, post your comment below. You'd be mad not to. This box set is absolutely collectible. You will have so much fun painting these, and we have a built version. I'm gonna have to make sure we set it aside to get Roma to paint it. Probably Harry. Okay, guys, look, thank you so much for watching. Remember that tomorrow morning over on beastofwar.com, we have the extra long backstage. That's the XLBS version of this show. It's a whole other hour where we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. We have a great segment called Hobby Time where we talk about the kinds of stuff that we've been up to this week. We are talking about some of the plans that we have for Warzone Resurrection. We have Protoss arriving with us next week. John and Justin are going to be doing a Tale of Two Gamers Warmahorde, so we're going to look forward to that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Lego.
Lego.
I have some Lego stuff. So if you're into your Lego, hop across, join Backstage and join us for that. If you're into your Beasts of War, come and join the Backstage community. Please. You will not regret it. You will enjoy it.
Yep.
We will make damn sure of that. And otherwise, if you just enjoy all this content that we put out free of charge every week and you would like to support it and ensure that it continues, please do take a moment to come across, join Backstage, and help us continue to increase the amount of content and the quality of the content that we're putting out each and every week. Guys, thank you to Kristen and Sam and John and Justin and everybody else who was on the show today. I don't think Justin even made it onto the show
today. He's always with us in spirit.
We've been all going like this. We will see you next week if we don't see you before. And until then, happy gaming.
Humanity has been driven from Earth, but now it's time to take it back. Join the Reconquest and fight the Scourge on the Drop Zone Commander Hub at beastofwar.com. It's time for 28mm World War II action. Will you recreate history or reshape it your way? On the Bolt Action Hub at beastofwar.com.